The guy who designed some video game characters for a few games came out and had some things to say. We're going to go over that in a second, but I just wanted to bring back some old faces and some new ones. So at the bottom right, we have Mary Jane from Spider-Man 2. A design that speaks for itself. That is not Mary Jane. That is Mary Ma'am. And then we have the bottom left. That's a new one. That's the Perfect Dark character for their reboot that they have coming out. I don't know if it's a reboot or a sequel, but there's a new Perfect Dark coming. And that's your lead character right there. I forget what her actual name is. I haven't played Perfect Dark in a long time. And then the one in the top left is Jean Grey from the upcoming Wolverine game, which I'm not going to buy because Sweet Baby Inc. helped make it, which makes me not want to play it, to be honest. I don't know if that's real. There's a couple images floating around from that game and what supposedly is what Jean Grey is going to look like. That's an early model, but I'm going to tell you, I think it's probably real, and it looks just like the ones on the bottom. I don't know who the one on the top right is. I don't know what game that's from. She still looks awful. And there's something going on, and now we have confirmation that they are going out of their way to do this. An artist that worked on a couple of games, Suicide Squad being one of them. He also worked on Arkham Knight, Jedi Survivor, Last of Us Part 2, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. His name is Del Walker. And boy, does he have a lot to say. I'm sure the 96 players that are enjoying Suicide Squad at the moment over on Steam are very thankful for these uglified women that he helped design. But he didn't do it intentionally. In fact, he wanted the opposite, which is very interesting. I like that he's come out and said this. And, you know, he says he doesn't want to give Gamergate people fuel. And, you know, whatever. I'm still glad he came out and said this because it's nice to have someone openly admit it, because people will look at you like you're crazy and they try to fight, oh, this isn't intentional. Well, it seems like it is. So here's what he tweeted out. He's responding to this comment where they show an attractive-looking black woman here, very pretty. And he says, there's been a handful of times I've pitched black women characters that look like this. Then after 10 iterations, the concept or model comes back without a speck of the original beauty I pitched. Now, isn't that interesting? Why don't they want a woman that looks like this? Now, we've been saying this for a long time. They're intentionally making women unattractive, trying to, it looks like to me, blur the lines between men and women. They don't do it with men. They just do it with women. It's a strange thing that's going on. And he's confirming it right here. I'm not talking about mild changes. I'm talking about pose, aura, style, softness, age, flair. I hate giving Gamergate men fuel, but it's very difficult to pitch beautiful or vain women in games without them coming back looking like grocery store aunties. There is room for both. And, you know, he's not wrong. You could have characters that look like grocery store aunties. But the majority of people want girls that look like the one on the left. Even women want to see the ones on the left. I really don't think anybody wants the one on the right, to be honest. But you could have both. Problem is we're not getting both. We're only getting the ones on the right. That's it. That's all we get. That's all we get. And I'm glad that he was frustrated enough that he would come out and say something about this. So, very interesting. I don't think we've had somebody in the industry flat out come out and admit this, that they don't want softness, style, any of those things associated with a woman. Isn't that weird? Because women are soft. They're very soft, especially compared to men. And why is that a big deal? Ask yourself that. Here's some responses. Listen to this one. So this guy says, dude, a friend of mine, an Asian woman, was just telling me about how this happens to her when she designs Asian women for Western games. I would like to put a focus on Western games because the Eastern games, they don't do this shit. They don't do this. Not all. Some might. The Sony ones do. For the most part, unless it's something like Stellar Blade, which I still don't know how that squeaked through their cracks. I don't know how or why they were okay with that. It goes against what Sony normally does. But yeah, it's more of a Western problem than it is an Eastern one, which is why you're seeing a lot of people flock back to Eastern developers, I think. They always have her work redesigned. They always have her work redesigned by a Western artist to look more stereotypical, then pat themselves on the back for good representations. And Dell says, yes, they also assume adding stereotypical ethno features with a blunt force is some sort of Hail Mary within a range of diversity that exists inside diversity. Now, that's a really good point, too. One thing that I've noticed, I'm not the only one that's noticed this. They even did it to Miles Morales in that new Spider-Man 2 game. They give, especially if it's a black guy character like Miles, they give him, a lot of people have been calling it the Killmonger cut. Remember Killmonger had that braided kind of look in Black Panther? And I'll show you. This is the look I'm talking about. Here's a bunch of different characters, all with the same haircut style. This is, I think, what he's talking about there. And they'll slap each other on the back and say that this is a win. Yeah, now it's authentic. And it's actually, it comes off as kind of racist, to be honest. So I thought this was very interesting. This guy, he's out here admitting, yeah, they don't want women that look like this. I do. They don't. Gamers do. Gamers would really love that. Imagine if they'd made this character from those Jedi games look like this. Not going to happen, though. They're going to give you this character. So, very interesting stuff. I always like to see this stuff get confirmed. Just like our suspicions with Disney did with that James O'Keefe video that just dropped about an hour ago or so. It dropped today. I was watching it earlier. Wild shit, man. Basically proving everything that we knew about Disney and their discrimination practices when it comes to hiring certain groups of people. It's going to be interesting to see the coverage on that. I will talk about it tomorrow because it's pretty big news. Anyway, that's it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.